I'm here with the wonderful Jerry Marzinsky, and we are talking about the weird creatures that cause the voices that schizophrenics hear. Now, Jerry, you've mentioned before that these creatures are like fishermen, you know, the way, in terms of the patterns that they follow. What do you mean by the fact that they're like fishermen?
Well, what they do is they put thoughts, nobody asks where do thoughts come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that isn't covered by psychology or psychiatry because you can't measure it, you can't see it. There's no way to actually manipulate it very well, But so they pretty much ignore it. Look at this. You have a voice running through your head all the time telling you all this stuff. Stuff you already know, stuff about people, stuff about what's going on. People think that voice is who they are. If you think that's who you are, then who is listening to that crap?
Exactly.
You're the one listening to it. The same thing with the voices. The voices put thoughts into your head. They're negative thoughts. They don't sound like anything unusual. I mean, they don't come in and go like, we're the voices, we're going to get you. It's not like that. They sound like all the other tens of thousands of thoughts that come into your mind on a regular day. But they inject these thoughts into your thought stream. Oh, you said something that wasn't nice. Oh, you might have insulted this guy, or they're laughing at you, or you're no good, or you're weak. I mean, any kind of negative thing. I mean, they'll put it in there. If you buy it, then you become that.
Yeah.
Okay? So your thoughts do not come from you. Emanuel Swedenborg, Christian mystic, lived 300 years ago. He said, none of your thoughts come from you. They either come in from the good side and angelic spirits or positive spirits, or they come in from the backside. Okay, but the angelic spirits, they speak more in feeling, intuition, serendipity, things that happen that way. They're not as blatant.
Yeah.
So when I saw this first pattern, the negativity, I started watching for other patterns. So here I am questioning these guys, and one of them, his voices didn't like it, so he runs up to the psychiatrist and goes, hey, this psych guy is asking me questions about the voices, and I don't like it. He's upsetting me. I ended up in the psychiatrist's office on the red carpet being ordered to stop asking them questions about their voices. That the psychiatrist said they are hallucinations. What you're doing is you're making these people worse by reinforcing their hallucinations. And I'm like, thinking in the back of my head, your head's you're full of it, But you can't say that to them because they're so freaking arrogant.
Yeah.
So other patterns started appearing. The next one would say we're anti-religious. I had patients come to me and say, hey, when I repeat the 23rd Psalm, the voices go nuts. It's like throwing them on a hot frying pan.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's interesting. So when I got a report like that, I didn't just take it. I would take it. I'd think about it. I'd start experimenting with other patients. So I started handing out the 23rd Psalm. So use this and tell me what happens with your voices. The voices hated it. They hated it consistently. So it was like punching them in the face. I mean, they actually hated it. Then there was another pattern. They energetically drain the schizophrenics. So if you ask the schizophrenic how much energy do they have before the voices come, how much energy they have after the voices come, there's a marked difference between before they're attacked by the voices and after they're attacked by the voices. They are just drained of energy after the voices attack them. And this is consistent. It's not only consistent in Georgia where I worked, it was consistent here in Arizona. Now I'm working with people all over the planet, all over the Western world anyway. All these patterns are consistent, not just for the state hospital I worked in, but every single mental health situation, even with patients all over the planet at this time. These are consistent. So you can go to my website at jerrymarzinsky.com, go to articles, pull up these patterns. There's 23 of them. Anybody who works with schizophrenics can see these for themselves. They're not hidden. They're not buried in a biochemical imbalance lie. They're not any genetic. You can see these for yourself. And if these voices are running patterns, they are not hallucinations that the psychiatric mafia insists they are. Matter of fact, they're doing these poor patients a massive disservice by feeding them this lie that they're hallucinations and that psychiatry and big pharma are the only treatment for these voices. I mean, that's a lie also.
Yeah.
So it's lie after lie after lie, including their DSM, their big Bible of psychiatric illnesses. Totally made up. There's not an objective test for a single one of them. They're completely made up. They vote them in, they vote them out. They treat these like real illnesses. They're not.
Yeah.
They're segments, normal behavior broken up and pathologized.